Welcome back to T-Boys TV. We're back again with a match reaction. Obviously, the last match reaction I did was Grimsby, I believe, to that rubbish. Well, obviously, weren't so rubbish today, was it? It finished Sheffield United 0, Luton Town 1. Our first win at their ground since 1994. Been breaking hella records this season. Our first win against them in general since 1996. Absolutely brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant. Typical Luton performance. Digging deep. Grinding out the 1-0 win. We've done that a lot last season. We've done that a few times this season away from home. Birmingham recently. Blackpool. You know, we've done it loads of times. And I can't lie. When I saw the lineup, obviously me going into the game, I thought this would be one of the remaining games we would lose. I know Sheffield United haven't been overly great in the load of recent games. I thought them being at home, they might sneak it, but we'll put up a game. I knew we was definitely going to do that. Obviously, I did say 2-1 to them. Part of that as well was the record. You know, the record we had against them in general. But yeah, the lineup, you know, when I saw it, I was a bit nervous. I can't lie. Obviously, Doherty and Clark both being out. You know, injuries. I don't think they're awful injuries. I just think they're knocks from what I heard and that. But obviously it was Ethan in goal, Osho, Lockyer and Bell. So exactly what I said defensively with that back three, and then obviously including the keeper, of course. Drame was on the right. Obviously Doherty being out meant Fred was on the left. The midfield was Campbell, Nakambia and Ruddock. I think Ruddock was the one higher up. It looked like that during the game. Obviously before he got injured, which I'll get into. And then obviously Morris and Adebayo up front. So, you know, it's interesting. It was just because Clark and Doherty have obviously been exceptional. I'd say, like I say on the Hatter Show, you could argue Doherty up there for being, you know, the best player under Rob Edwards. Obviously, it's been a lot, but I just think the way he's upped his game even more, even though I knew he was a good player, I saw it in that West Ham friendly. You know, he just steps it up even more, and he's not even playing his main position, but he's someone you always want to see in that starting lineup. You know, a lot of our players are like that. They don't even play their main positions, and they're doing bits like Bell is obviously a wing back more than a, you know, centre back. So stuff like that really. Obviously our bench: Berry, Bradley, Lansbury, Musgrave. Musgrave, since he's returned, he's not really been on the bench at all. I think it might be one game previously before this. So obviously that was interesting. Shea, Taylor and Woodrow. So good options when it comes to attacking. Still got every position, you know, of someone to bring on, which is obviously good in that sense. I remember a few games when, you know, players, especially defensively, were getting suspended and that. We didn't quite have the options there. So good that obviously we did, or we do now, sorry. Obviously Sonny Bradley coming back. You know, he's been on the bench a few times since he's come back now. But yeah, you know, I don't want to say worried, but I did have a little bit of a, ooh, this is going to be interesting in that sense. But, you know, most of it is what it's been. It was just like Clark and that have been exceptional. You know, a lot of other players have, but I think they're two standouts, really. We're going into the first half. Wasn't the greatest half to watch, I would say. As a, you know, if you're a neutral fan watching it. I do think we, you know, had the better of the ball, etc. Obviously, that was when Ruddock did have to come off. It does look like it could be a season-long injury for the rest of the season. It looked like I think he started crying, so that's how bad it was. By looks of it, he's limping, he couldn't continue. So I just wish him all the best, man. Of course, you know, he's been exceptional for us this season. Well, for me, ever since Rob Edwards has come in, he's been exceptional. You know, there's games where, you know, other than the games recently, you know, he's been starting and he's been a regular name on the team sheet. So, you know, wish him all the best, man. Speedy recovery, and hopefully he'll be back, you know, ASAP, really. But obviously, Berry come on. I was happy to see that. Obviously, we don't see as much as we'd like to see it or as Luton fans of Luke Berry, but we did see him in this one. I'll be real, I don't think it was great for Berry compared to what it's usually like. Usually he's that player who gets into them positions, drags the opposition players out. Sometimes he'll take that pop shot on and etc. He did have a shot in the first half, wasn't great, not going to lie. But yeah, first half I just thought we were more in control, but it wasn't really, it wasn't really the greatest of watches, I would say, in the first half. But going into that, first half 0-0, I was happy. I definitely took a point going into the game, considering I did say us to lose. But then again, I did say, obviously, football results, they can go one of three ways. Obviously win, draw or loss. Usually of Luton, I can see it going one or two, depending on who we're playing. Like, for example, when we played Burnley, I thought we would lose or draw. And then games like Swansea, for example, I thought we'd win or draw. Whereas this, I could literally see this one going any of the three ways. And I did say a loss. So going into it, taking a draw, I'd have been very happy with that, especially at Bramall Lane. Yeah, I was happy with that going into, the first half. Going into the second half, sorry. And then obviously we did get that goal quite early on in the second half. Colton Morris, Elijah linking up very well. Elijah, lovely bit of skill. Close your legs, mate. Played it across to Morris. Typical Morris goal, really. He scored a lot of goals like that this season. Pouncing there, just being on the end of it. Similar goal in the sense where he's in the box. The ball's been played across to the goal he scored against Swansea, you could say, in that sense. But obviously his celebrations with Elijah, brilliant. Love to see that passion right in front of the away fans as well. Big up to everyone that went to that. 1,717. So yeah, that's good, man. Big up. I'm glad everyone that did go enjoyed it. I know a couple of my mates that went. So yeah, big up to yourselves. But yeah, brilliant goal. Brilliant team goal that was. And, most of that, we was, in control of the second half. I mean, towards the end, they had a bit of a spell, Sheffield United. And obviously we was trying to see out the game. Obviously, we did bring Woodrow on. Woodrow, the last couple of games he's come on, man. I can't lie, he's been good. And I do think it will get to that stage where, as much as Elijah got a very good assist today, sometimes Elijah tries to do too much, I feel. Like, he'll take them extra touches and that when it's not really necessary. If Woodrow comes on and gets a goal at some point, I can see him starting ahead of Elijah alongside Morris. Because obviously they've played together as well at Barnsley. So they know each other well from that time. And he did nearly score in this game. Lovely little head, over the Sheffield United player. Just wide. Unlucky, to be honest. That was unlucky. Lovely bit of, skill to get past the player. But unlucky. And then obviously to see things out, Fred come off. I don't think that's nowhere near as bad as the injury compared to, say, Ruddock, for example. But, I think that might be one where it might be a game, at least a game, or maybe not even that. He might be back, but Fred did have to come off. I thought Fred was decent today. I thought he was decent, to be honest. I think it wasn't, the best that we've seen from him, but he was all right. He was all right. And again, he's not playing in his main position. So give him credit for playing how he did, really. And then obviously Bradley come on. We haven't seen Bradley in a while. Like I said, we've seen him on the bench, but we haven't actually seen him come on. A lot of times he hasn't come on because he's not up there when it comes to match fitness at the moment. But he come on. It was just one where they were piling up pressure on us. I wouldn't really say Bradley done much when he come on. They did have a chance right near the end. And like I said, that's when they were piling up pressure. Good save by Ethan. Very good save by Ethan. Putting his body on the line. He was good in this game. A lot of people always criticise him, which I think is harsh most of the time. The guy's... He's had two bad games for Luton, I would say. Millwall, because obviously the error. And then West Brom at home. But again, who didn't have a bad game in that? Do you know what I mean? So... majority of the season, he's been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant. And if it comes to the end of the season and Forest don't want him, which I clearly don't think they will, because when they were going through that goalkeeper situation with Dean Henderson, they weren't looking to get him back. I'd be very happy if we managed to get hold of Ethan. I really would. The defence feels a lot better when he's at the back compared to like when Sluga was there. And I think Shea's good, but I think going forward we need someone a little bit better. And I think Ethan is better, to be honest. So that's my opinion on that. And yeah, like I say, just put his body on the line. Exceptional defensive performance again. Like I said, Sheffield United did have a little bit of, chances, but we expect that, especially at their ground, where they are in the league. And we dealt with them, well. We dealt with them well. Another clean sheet, like I said, typical Luton win. Magical Morris, wins it for Luton. So yeah, man, absolutely brilliant. As for my man of the match, I'm going to go Lockyer, mate. I thought he was absolutely exceptional. Mate, anytime the ball comes towards him, he's literally clearing it away, heading it away, and he is going to be the future captain of this club. Obviously, the current main captain is Bradley, but obviously he's been coming back, and I think going forward, he won't, if we are to progress to the Premier League, I don't think Bradley will be no longer part of the club, because I think there's a few players that are not quite the answer going forward. And I like Bradley, man. I like Bradley, obviously, brilliant servant. He's been for us, brilliant captain. There'll be moments I'll never forget, like Blackburn away last season. Obviously, Berry was the one who got the goals, but Bradley, when he come on in that second half, absolutely phenomenal. The team urging on going forward. Even our first game back in the Championship against Middlesbrough, that banger he scored on TV, the 3-3, the crazy game. There'll be moments like that I'll never forget, man. And obviously, I did win one of his shirts from a couple of seasons ago as well that he wore. So that was sick. But yeah, Lockyer's my man of the match. He's everything that we want for a defender. He's got that bit of shithousery and get under the other team's skin in a way that'll benefit us. He's just a rock at the back, really, man. There's been so many good performances from him this season. Blackpool away is probably the standout for me. With all, obviously, Potts had to come off in that game. That's when Potts was on really good form. And obviously we was a bit worried defensively in that game. Even though Blackpool are not doing great still, they've got some good players, Yates, etc. And he just dealt with them well. There. So, yeah, and he's been brilliant this season. He's been absolutely brilliant, Lockyer. He's had one bad game like West Brom. Apologies, that had a little bit of a cut out there, people. It come out saying my storage is full, which is just annoying. Typical iPhones, eh? But yeah, that is where I'm going to wrap it up anyway. So, yeah, what a performance. Lockyer, my man of the match. Solid as a rock at the back. A massive win. Obviously, we jump up to 4th with obviously Blackburn losing last night. And I did say at the start of the season, we'd end up getting 4th. So hopefully we get that, or even above. Above would be even better. But I did call it at the start of the season. So hopefully we do it. And yeah, we move on to obviously Bristol City midweek, which I think is a good game to try and get, 3 points again. Especially at home, where we are starting to grind out results at home now as well, given the start we had at home this season. So yeah, people, that is the end of this video. Don't forget to smash a like on the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new with the notification bell on. Let me know your thoughts on the game as well. Sheffield United fan, Luton fan, or a neutral fan if you watched it. And yeah, follow me across any of my socials if you're not already. A link to them are in the description. And subscribe to my other channel as well. Turn on the notification bell for that as well. T-Boys TV Extra. And until next time, I'll see you lot in a bit. So take care and peace. Come on, Luton!